So we have 1 day left of the transfer window and the done deals and the rumours are flying in going into the final days as clubs start to panic and try and get their deals done. We've got a lot to cover in this video today. I think this will be the last transfer video where I go through rumours. I think the final part of this transfer series will be me going through every team for the Championship and grading them, how well they've done in the January transfer window. And I'm also thinking of doing my mid-season predictions afterwards. Now, I'm aware I've also released my mid-season predictions for Christmas, but judging by the reaction and reception, it was a bit of a parody if I were to be quoting it. So I'm already thinking of taking that video down and replacing it with a brand new of mid-season predictions with a transfer window to base it on. That was my biggest mistake. So if you guys want that, let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It is massively appreciated. We're closing in on 100 subscribers. It'll be fantastic if we're nearly there. So please hit that subscribe button if you're new around here or if you haven't done. And please share the channel to as many Championship fans as you can. All of that will be fantastically appreciated. But without any further ado, let's go through all the confirmed deals that have happened since my last transfer video, which is on the eye icon up there. Check it out if you haven't seen it. We've had some big news, some real eye-catching news. First off, I'm going to talk about Callum Robinson. He has signed on a loan deal for West Brom at the end of the season. I think that's a good bit of business for West Brom. For me, Callum Robinson hasn't even done that badly this season for Sheffield United. They've just been really punching above their weight. And Callum Robinson has not been really replicating his scoring form because the likes of Lise Mousset, Johnny Lundstrom have all stepped up and have scored goals themselves. He's only scored 2 goals, one of them which I remember very vividly against Chelsea. But I think he'll have a load of fun in the Championship with West Brom. He's a very versatile player, he can play up front, he can play on wide as well. It's interesting how he'll fit in West Brom's current formation under Bilic, but I'm sure he'll find a way to slot him into the team. I mean, that could be a fantastic bit of business, and West Brom need more creativity as they're really stuttering their Championship position at the moment. Scott Hogan, a very common Championship player, did very well with Brentford, played a little bit with Aston Villa. He has left Aston Villa to join Birmingham. He obviously spent the first half of this season on loan for Stoke. I remember him vividly scoring the 2 goals that he did against Derby County in their 2-2 draw. But apart from that, Scott Hogan hasn't really stepped up to the challenge. And I think maybe moving to a Midlands rival in Birmingham, maybe he may get more game time there. You could probably work up a front with Jukovic, or maybe he could be a good backup option. It'll be very interesting to see how Pep Clotet implements him. Aaron Moy has made his Brighton contract permanent, so Huddersfield no longer have Aaron Moy as a player. They've gained £5.4 million for him, which I think is a really good amount of money for Huddersfield. I think they could really benefit that in the next few transfer windows. I briefly mentioned Michael Solbauer. He has signed to Barnsley from Berger, obviously Gerard Struber's old club in management. He's a defender, 29 years old, and I think it's exactly what Barnsley needs, some experience at the back and some discipline and some leadership. He could be the formula that Barnsley need to try and push themselves out of it, because right now there's a 5-point gap that they need to try and breach to try and get out for relegation zone. I think they can do it, it's just whether that they'll be consistent enough. I briefly mentioned Chris Maxwell leaving Preston from his loan back to Hibernian, but Hibernian have now sent him back on loan to their Lancashire rivals in Blackpool, which is a little bit interesting, I have to say. I briefly talked about last video with Fulham doing very well, signing Ivan Cavallero permanently, but they've done one better. They've even signed Bobby Reid now permanently from Cardiff. That, I think, is a very good signing. I think Fulham in this transfer window, they didn't really need to change their squad all that much. It's already good. But I think what was important is that they made their fantastic players that they already have permanent. They've already done it with Mitrovic at the start of the season. But now to get Cavallero and Bobby Reid on permanent contracts now, I think that is a really fantastic bit of business for Fulham. Quite an underrated bit of business as well. David Stockdale, very experienced Championship goalkeeper, has left Birmingham to join Wickham. Wickham in a fantastic position so far in League One. In and around the top 2. It's a very interesting move. Obviously, David Stockdale, I remember him vividly being Brighton's goalkeeper when Brighton were promoted to the Premier League. 2 further players have left Birmingham on loan deals. Odin Bailey has left Birmingham to join Forest Green on loan down in League 2. Fran Villabra has left Birmingham to join Udi Almeria on loan as well. Both players have not featured all that much. Victor Adebayo has left Barnsley to join Cambridge on loan. Cambridge, who are not in a very strong position at the moment. They've recently sacked their manager following their very poor run. At the start of the season, he was at Bristol Rovers on loan. He didn't really have a big impact there, unfortunately. Toby Siddick has left Barnsley to join Hearts on loan, and I'm already hearing that he's already wanted to try and make that Hearts deal permanent. Claudio Jakob, a very experienced player, 32 years of age, has left Nottingham Forest on a free transfer to Nacional in the Uruguayan league. David Minkovic has left Hull to join Vancouver on loan. Bartosz Białkowski is another player that signed on a permanent contract, this time for Millwall. A lot of people, myself included, didn't really expect that much from Białkowski. He was a little bit clanger prone with Ipswich last season when they got relegated, rock bottom as well. But he's really stepped up his game and is a very decent championship goalkeeper like we all think he is. And the fact that Millwall signed him permanently, I think it will really help Millwall in the future. Devante Cole has left Wigan, joined Doncaster. One for recent signings today, Luton Town have completed the signing of Cameron Carter-Vickers from Tottenham. He spent the first half of his season with Stoke, who's played a few times but has not been a regular starter. He's had to go in a couple of times, obviously having a really long-term injury to Ryan Shawcross. Another big new bit of news is that Nakhi Wells has been recalled by Burnley, which is a huge blow for Queen's Park Rangers because he's been their top goal scorer this season. But there are many rumours circulating that if he's going to stay around Burnley, which I will talk later on in this video. But I think the biggest bit of news from the Championship has gone from Leeds United, managing to sign Jean-Kevin Augustin. Now, he is a name I have heard about, but I've not seen a lot of him play. He was on loan on RB Leipzig this season, but now he's joined Leeds on loan. Apparently Manchester United were trying to lure him in, but when you've got the choice of Solskjaer and Bielsa, you're only going one way, realistically. He's a PSG graduate. He's managed to play in the likes of Monaco as well as RB Leipzig, as I mentioned. But he does have a lot of experience, and the potential this guy has is absolutely insane. Very pacey and very skillful. I think he's exactly what Leeds United need. I don't think he'll start every game. I think he'll be a little bit similar with Nketiah. I think Bamford is Bielsa's preferred striker up front, but I think Augustin will definitely have some more time. I think he'll be featured a lot more because I think Leeds will need a player of his quality to step up. So there are all the confirmed transfers as of now. Obviously one day left, so we may not see many new ones happen after this video, but who knows, a lot of big clubs can panic on the final day and just get some ridiculous deals going. If I missed any, let me know in the comments down below and I'll acknowledge it. But now we get to the rumours now. I've got a stack load of rumours, which I want to try and go through really quickly. So we're going to start with a player I've not really mentioned in the channel, but has been all over the news, is Ben Gibson. Obviously a Burnley defender. He's only featured twice for Burnley since he's signed there, so he's really not getting any minutes. He previously at Middlesbrough, he had a lot more minutes, a lot more appearances, over 20 appearances for Middlesbrough. A very good championship player. He's been linked with Nottingham Forest, Watford and Middlesbrough recently. Eintracht Frankfurt, Cologne have also been two clubs interested in trying to get Ben Gibson also. Obviously I can see Middlesbrough's approval with him being so good for Middlesbrough, and Jonathan Woodgate has expressed he really wants it back, but I think out of the clubs I mentioned, I think it's Watford or Middlesbrough going to be one of the clubs to get in. Watford are looking to try and send another bid in. It'll be very interesting to see if Ben Gibson stays at Burnley. I definitely think he needs more football. To make one appearance so far this season, with it being in the League Cup, it's just ridiculous of a player of his quality. So now I get to Troy Parrott. Now I've seen this guy play for Spurs. It looks like that Jose Mourinho is trying to send him out on loan. Charlton and Queen's Park Rangers are currently interested in the guy. With Charlton, I can understand, following the uncertainty of Lyle Taylor's future, Troy Parrott could be an almost like-for-like replacement, not necessarily playing in the same position, but maybe he could be pushed in around a number 10 position with Lee Bowyer. But obviously Queen's Park Rangers getting the link. They've got a fantastic relationship with Spurs, obviously taking a couple of their players already on loan, including Jack Clark and Luke Amos. They could make it 3 players. Troy Parrott decides to join Queen's Park Rangers. Definitely a potential player, only 17 years old. Gosh, he's younger than me. I think he can relish at a club, at a championship club, because for what I've seen in the Premier League, he does have a lot of desire. So another player being linked with a move away is Sam Cosgrove, the Aberdeen striker. Stoke are looking like they want to try and spend around £7 million for him. Middlesbrough and Lazio have both expressed an interest also. That's a very good, scoring 21 goals in 29 matches. For a player of his quality, I think it'll be quite difficult to try and finalise a deal with the little time that's left, but if he were to move to a championship club, I think he could really hit the ground running. Another player linked with a move away is Isaac Success, the Watford striker. Now, he was the Golden Ball winner of the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in 2013. Huddersfield and Cardiff have been 2 championship clubs looking at this guy. He was Watford's most expensive player from Granada before they managed to get Sarr this season. He's now their most expensive player. I don't know how he would adapt to the Championship, and in terms of clubs like Huddersfield and Cardiff, I'm not too sure how he will fit in both of them. I can see him fitting into Cardiff a little bit more than Huddersfield. Huddersfield, I think, up top have got quite a few options already that can really hit the ground running for them. As with Cardiff, I think he'd fit there a little bit more, but an interesting rumour regardless. Filip Benkovic has been in the news recently, the Leicester City defender. Middlesbrough are interested in him. Leicester got him for 18 million for Dinamo Zagreb in 2018, but he's actually not started a game so far for Leicester. He was on loan at Celtic last season, scoring twice as well. I think he does need to move away. I think with the options Leicester have with Soyuncu, Johnny Evans, Wes Morgan all doing really well, I don't see Benkovic getting a game anytime soon, so maybe move to the Championship is a good option, and whether it'll be Middlesbrough he goes to, we'll have to wait and see. And obviously with there being a day left, it will have to be an insane deal if it were to happen. Alessio de Cruz. Now Sheffield Wednesday are interested in signing this Dutch forward from Parma. He was said to have a medical yesterday, but I've not heard more developments about it. He spent this season, the first half of this season, on loan at Serie B side Ascoli. He scored 6 goals and 6 assists in 18 appearances. Al-Mukumi is another name that's being linked around. Leeds were interested, but Bielsa has said that he doesn't want to sign anyone after getting John Kevin Augustin. But apparently Stoke, Derby and Burnley are all interested in this guy, valued around 10 million. Someone that's in Liga and American currently playing for Saint Etienne. Is this going to be Derby's only signing so far? Because Derby have not signed anyone so far. Yes, they've technically got Wayne Rooney, but they signed him all the way at summer. Obviously, now we need to go back to Lyle Taylor. He's been linked with so many Championship clubs. You've got Brentford, Bristol City, Nottingham Forest, all expressing an interest at some stage, even some Premier League clubs as well. Brentford are apparently leading the race to try and sign him on around Friday. However, as I said, many clubs are interested. It'll be interesting to see if Lyle Taylor does leave. There are rumours that he's not going to renew his contract, meaning that Charlton may want to sell him now to try and get some value of him. Obviously, if his contract runs out and he leaves in the summer, he'll probably have to go for a free, which would be a complete waste of money in my opinion. The latest news on Jarrod Bowen. Hull have actually lowered their price for Bowen down to 18 million, so not 20 million even more. Newcastle and Aston Villa have been the two latest clubs interested in Jarrod Bowen, but with a player of his quality, there's going to be many clubs interested, and I think the fact they've lowered the price now, maybe they're trying to encourage more bids from more clubs. But I think with the little time that there's left, I think Bowen may stay in January, but I think summer, I'll be very surprised if he stays at Hull City. A couple of quick ones to go through. Connor Wickham looks like that he will go to Sheffield Wednesday on loan. It's not confirmed yet, hence why this is a rumour, but I'd say out of all the rumours, this one's probably going to be the most likely. Now Jota, Aston Villa player, Dean Smith managed to get him. He's been on talks to join Fulham. That would be an insane deal for Fulham if they managed to get him. Obviously in the Championship, he was absolutely immense for Brentford. My fear with Fulham is that if they do get him, they're going to run out of attacking options. They're going to have so many that they want to try and make happy. Eunan O'Kane, obviously a Leeds United player. It looks like Luton may have a bid accepted for him to join on for Luton. I'm not sure how he'll do with Luton, but he is a player with a little bit of experience, and I think that may help Luton. I think Josh Windass has been in talks to leave Wigan in around 500k. Now, if you cast your minds back to 2018 when Josh Windass was a different club, Preston actually bidded 500k for Josh Windass, but that bid was turned down. Now, if that is the case, Preston could look back and say, okay, we might try and get Josh Windass now. Not sure about the validity of this rumour, but who knows if Josh Windass is going to leave. And at that value, you don't know what Preston are going to do. They could easily swipe in for him. Cohen Bramall is a player I know very well, Colchester left back. Wigan could call a bid for this guy if Antonio Robinson leaves for AC Milan. I previously discussed this rumour last transfer video. With Nottingham Forest, I mentioned their potential signing of Nuno da Costa. It's running around a little bit. I think he had a medical yesterday, but I'm not too sure of the developments of it. But they could go to Gaten Bong as a backup striker if they don't manage to get da Costa. Obviously Bong, a striker at Brighton who's barely played. And the final rumour to go for is on this guy, Johnson Clark Harris. Bristol Rovers player won the talisman of League One this season. Sheffield Wednesday looked like they want to try and make a late move for him. He has scored plenty of goals, and Bristol Rovers, in terms of form, have really struggled in 2020, only scoring 1 goal so far, which was against Bolton Wanderers. Talisman in League One, it can go either way. You can get really, really good ones, or you can get ones that are put severely under pressure and just don't perform at the same standard. We've seen it with Jamal Lowe. I hope we don't see the same with Johnson Clark-Harris if he does move to Sheffield Wednesday, because Sheffield Wednesday right now are on a terrible run of form and they need to fix that form as soon as they can if they want to be playoff challengers. So we're going to end the rumours by talking about a specific comment I received in one of my last transfer videos from Joshua Jones. This was following the situation with Nakhi Wells and Josh Brownhill. He stated that he thinks a striker is more important. They need goals, and we're well stocked in centre mid with Corey Smith, Nagy, Masingo, Palmer, and Liam Welsh and Joe Moore, all on loan we could recall. Tenor centre back has the ability to play there if needed. Right, so obviously the interest is that Bristol City are trying to get Nakhi Wells. They could get him for around £4 million. But in return, Burnley would like Josh Brownhill. Now, they're willing to pay £10 million for Josh Brownhill. So what Bristol City are essentially getting is Nakhi Wells plus £6 million in the exchange of Josh Brownhill. It was a deal at first that just looked like that it just wasn't attractive at all, but the fact they've added the £10 million price tag to Josh Brownhill and are willing to accept that, they're going to get a positive amount of money, but they're also getting Nakhi Wells in return. Now, I wasn't sure originally on Wells because obviously Afobe still needs to go back, and when he does go back, maybe Wells may not be as needed. But in terms of now, they could really use this opportunity now to get a player like Wells who can score plenty of goals. We've seen what he's done with Queen's Park Rangers, and maybe if Bristol City can hold on to Wells's momentum for about 2 to 3 months, they can get a really good say in terms of making it to the playoffs. So I understand the appeal for it. I'm just not sure whether it'll be a good decision long term, because Josh Brownhill, captain of Bristol City, he's been absolutely immense for Bristol City. I can see him fitting quite well with Burnley, actually. A very creative player, and he'll set the likes of Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes with a load of chances. It's a risk, but it might be a risk worth taking. Getting the player plus £6 million in the exchange of one player, that you do have a load of options in that position. It may be a risk worth taking. So we've got one final comment to go through. That was on my last transfer video by Dark Knight 12. It says, in his opinion, that Leeds United do not need a new striker, although I'd love a 20-goal-a-season striker like Adams or Gale. I'd rather use a more youthful, much taller J-Rock Grot in the striker role. He has been on loan on half the season, although he hasn't hit full form. I think he's the man we need to be right now. J-Rock Grot was originally Dark Knight 12's preferred choice, but my response to that is that would you rather have taken him or Jean-Kevin Augustin? Because honestly, Jean-Kevin Augustin, the potential he has for what I have seen of him, he could really be the striker that Leeds United need. In my opinion, I think they did need a striker. As much as how much I support Bamford, he has been under pressure. He did very well to score a brace against Millwall in the midweek game. But having said that, his form is not going to be up there forever. He needs backup. And I think Augustin will be exactly the player that they need. He's youthful as well, as you wanted as well. So I think Leeds have done quite well to get another striker of that quality, to get him from RB Leipzig as well. I think it's really, really good from them as well. I'm going to put a poll question. How many goals do you see Jean-Kevin Augustin scoring this season? Let me know in the comments down below. So I believe that is all I wanted to talk about in this transfer show. If I've missed anyone out, you know what to do. Let me know in the comments down below and tell me off, and I'll just say, yeah, missed it, but I'll discuss it later. If there's anything I missed out but you want to ask me, you could always follow me on Twitter and tweet me. My Twitter is on the screen right now. It's also in the description down below. But I think that wraps it up for the transfer video. If you guys liked what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It is massively appreciated. Please subscribe if you haven't done, or if you're new around here. All of that will be fantastically appreciated. I've looked at 73% of the viewers that watch these videos don't subscribe to the channel. So what are you doing? Please subscribe to the channel. We're on 92 subscribers. We're nearly there. And please share the channel to as many football fans and championship fans as you can. It's the only way that we can grow a community. That will be fantastically appreciated. But thank you guys so much for watching and taking the time to see this. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care.